It's just life, like I've said 3 times. Can't do much about it.
So on the weekend, we experienced a rare thing in sports. We experienced a where were you when it happened moment. There's only probably not even 3 a year. There's probably like three every like 3 or 4 years where you just
I think this year's a bit different, but
there's a few events where you just like as soon as you hear someone say it in 5 years, you're just like snap. You're like, man, I know exactly where it was. So Paul, where are you? Where are you? Kawhi Leonard gets the ball, 4 seconds left. Where
I'd
were
just
you?
gotten home from work. I was in my living room with my dad. We had dinner on the table, but we were at the couches watching the game. And yeah, he was laying down on the couch. I'm just standing there, watching, holding my breath, hiding behind my couch because I was nervous and had the ball sit on the rim for what 20
Oh,
minutes at least, and it went in. I swear I did the same pose as him. I was on the ground when it was rolling around the rim. It would have been a legendary photo, but no, I was just in my living room hanging out with my dad.
unfortunately,
His
Paul Guado and not Kawhi Leonard, so no one's taking pictures of you.
Yeah, that's facts. But I was in my living room with my dad. I was texting my grandpa. He was watching his first ever basketball game. It's one of those moments. Where were you?
I was in my room by myself, as per usual when I watch sports, because I have no life and the friendship category is lacking apparently. But I was watching by myself anxiously
Hey, I feel
when Kawhi missed the free throw and then Jimmy came down and made the layup. I was not in a good state. I was like, okay, we have the ball, but this is not looking good. And as soon as he inbounded to Kawhi, my first reaction was, oh God, because the amount of times I've watched the end of a Raptors game where it's inbounded to Kawhi, DeMar, whoever, and
even Vince back in the day watching
and
those clips.
man, and they just get it and they dribble somewhere. Usually, like, and the way he went around the perimeter was like, there's no way he's getting a good shot. It's gonna be a fadeaway three. We're gonna be lucky if this hits rim. This is going to
Over
overtime.
Joel Embiid.
Like, this is going to overtime. Like, really? Like, come on, man. Like, can we need Kawhi? Like, we need Kawhi to stay. Like, we act like we don't. A lot of us, me myself largely included, like we act like we don't need Kawhi to stay. But Kawhi staying would mean so much to the sport in Canada, and it would mean so much to Raptors fans.
We do.
Like him staying is just everything for so many different people and so many different reasons. And so when he released that shot, you could just kind of see the Clippers logo, like inching closer as it goes towards the rim. You're just like, this is not going to go in. He's going to leave. His last memory is going to be him missing a free throw. Like, oh my God. And then it bounced on the rim and hit the rim. You're like, that's not good. And then it bounced the second time. You're like, that's kind of weird. And then the third time, you're like, that's really weird. And then it dropped. And my first reaction was, I just jumped up and yelled because I've just like, what was that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
ball bouncing on the rim that many times, you don't see that. It was one of those weird plays in sports where like there was a 0.000 however many zeros 1% chance of it happening, and it happened, and it happened.
Felt like it meant to happen.
You're right. It really like with those bounces, it just like it really felt like it was meant to happen, which is a really weird feeling as a sports fan because it seems like a lot of the time, I know for me personally, and I'm sure for you, it feels like it's just not meant to happen. And so to finally have one break like that, it was nothing short of unbelievable. The way it bounced in the rim was just the perfect embodiment of the entire series in the game, where you had no idea who was going to win. Like I don't want anyone to tell you otherwise. You're like the Raptors are going to win the whole time, or the Sixers are going to like. No one had any idea. Every game was just like you just start watching like this is not what I thought. Every time it was so weird. The adjustments back and forth, how each coach adjusted. It was every game was completely different. And so for the series to end on just the most bizarre set of bounces where the whole time until it went in, you had no idea what was going to happen was just absolutely perfect. And it was
It
just
was beautiful.
it was one of those sports moments that we don't get often, and it just reminded you why you love sports.
It felt like I've only had a couple of those my whole life, and you get that feeling that you can't relate anything to it. It's so exciting.
Yeah,
I mean, you get reminded why you spent hours and hours following and looking at all the trade rumors and all the leaks, and you just it just makes it all worth it, you know?
yeah. Like there's an old saying in the NBA, and it kind of relates to every other sport: is you have to feel the pain before you can taste the champagne. And most people think that fits only with the players, but it's really true with fans too. Because as a Raptors fan, with how it's gone in the playoffs for so many years, to have it like have a win like that felt that much better because of what had happened before, and just like it really felt earned. It was so weird because like
Couldn't agree.
it was so weird because it's like you're a fan and you're just watching this game and you're like, why do I feel like I earned something because that ball bounced in? Like
I
I
think the
shouldn't
whole country felt that.
yeah, like it was. And I think
It was special.
it's one of those cool moments where you realize like why on one hand you think, man, it'd be cool if Canada got a second NBA team, but on the other hand you watch that and you know the whole country was watching, pulling for that ball to drop. And it's just like a really special feeling that your entire country's invested in one thing. It doesn't happen very often. And we're lucky to
Right.
experience it when every time they play. It's really weird. Like it's hard to explain to other countries and other and people who aren't Raptors fans or aren't Blue Jays fans because you feel the same thing when you watch the Blue Jays.
Yep.
But when when it happened, and it's not even close to the same when like all the NHL teams are out for one and there's one Canadian team left and everyone like fake cheers for that one team because they're the only one left. Even though you like actually hate them, but like you pretend to like them because like I guess you want a Canada win. Like it's just like this weird paradox of a feeling. But like there's one team, there's one like Paul. We all know when the Habs were going far in the playoffs, you were not cheering for the Habs. Like come on here.
No, not a chance in France.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
was
like
rooting against them every series.
yeah, exactly. But like when the Raptors are playing, it's the whole country, and like it's not a coincidence they set their TV rating record, and it's not a coincidence interest is at an all time high right now. It's just the further this team goes, the more it means for the sport in this country, and it's pretty special to watch because you can see the landscape in the country changing with
Mm-hmm.
a bounce of a ball on a rim. Like it's really that simple. How much an entire generation could change in getting invested in basketball just from watching that go in. Because like if that doesn't go in and they lose, there's a segment of people who just like, they lost, like whatever. But now
Yeah.
there's countless 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids and older who watch them. They're like, man, basketball is pretty cool, and
Mm-hmm.
they might pick up a basketball, and that's pretty cool, and that doesn't happen very often in countries, and that's something that the Raptors give this country that I think means a whole lot more than whatever you and I have to say about the Bucks series and how good the Bucks
Yep.
are,
And
how good the Raptors are. Like the
I
reality is
think,
the whole country should be pulling for them.
and just to kind of highlight the impact of it, growing up on outdoor rinks, kids recreate crazy moments in hockey that have happened in history, and they
Absolutely.
put themselves in that shoes. And today, driving home from work, I almost got goosebumps seeing a couple kids outside playing basketball, and one of them jumped up in the corner, shot it, and squatted right down. And the other kid had his arm right up, and then he looked over his shoulder, and the ball went in, and both the kids went crazy. And
Yeah.
it was one of those things where I remember doing that on the outdoor rink
Yeah.
every night as a kid.
Oh yeah.
And now it's so cool that kids growing up are doing that in the summer, really, with instead of hockey with basketball. It's
Yeah.
one of those things that really changes the country.
It's like one of those things that people from other countries don't really appreciate because they don't understand or see like there's a revolution going on in our country right now, and every time they play they help accelerate that revolution Like you see with a guy like RJ in the NBA draft this year, that kid's not there if the Raptors don't exist. Like it's just point blank. He's just not there. And
Look at the past few NBA drafts.
yeah,
Andrew Wiggins, not there. Anthony Bennett, legend, Canadian, not there.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
it has a huge impact on kids, and those are just Ontario kids. Now it's really spreading throughout Canada now, and I'm excited to see the next
Yeah,
5, 10, like the rest
yeah.
of Canada basketball. I think it's yeah, really starting a revolution.
It's special because we get to see a revolution. Because it's definitely one of those things where you can tell your grandkids or even your kids, because it'll be that rampant where you'll be like, it didn't always used to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
And we can say we watched it happen. And that's pretty cool that a group of 15 players can affect an entire country like that. And we can talk about the Bucks if we want, but like the reality of the situation is this series is about a whole lot more than that. And we can analyze it when we talk that Giannis is amazing. Giannis is this, Giannis is that. But at the end of the day, I think everyone in Canada should be pulling for the Raptors just to see where basketball can go in the country.
Exactly. It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's we've never seen it before, and it's something we're really excited for, to be honest. And I think everybody in Canada is excited for. Talking at work with people that have never watched a basketball game in their life, they're ripping questions at me. And then Avery, my guy at work, big shout out to Avery.
Gonna have
We're
to have
just
him at some point.
100%. Will knows him. I know him. Great kid. But we just answer questions about basketball. We spend half an hour talking to people throughout the day about Kawhi's shot and the magnitude of it, and just how excited we are really to be in the Eastern Finals and finally get to see that. And it's awesome.
So inside.